Hello everyone. Today I will introduce another new televisions. You know that IBM TV recently they are doing a very good jobs, and they are trying to promoting knowledge, music, economical aspect, and startups and different things from around the world. They are working from USA, but they are promoting different culture from Asia Pacific, from Africa, from Europe's, and from USA around the world. So today, actually, World Talent Economy Forum, we always come up with some story, some of the peoples, those who can change the world, those who can create some valuable things. So today we have Madam Kimberly and Ankit, both of them actually working hard for IBM TV. Let's introduce yourself, what you do, how you working for IBM TV, what's your passion, how you just growing the IBM TV. Please introduce for our audience.
Ankit, I'll let you start.
No, you need to start.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Yes, yes.
Boss first. Boss first.
Okay, so boss first. I'm not the boss. Ankit really tells me what to do. I just follow his lead. But Sharif, first off, I want to say you're doing a great job. And thank you for having us on your show. And we hope to be promoting you as well. IBM TV, like you said, we're about promoting, inspiring, positive thinking, the power of positive thinking. We want to inspire a wealth of health and healthy wealth. Okay, so kind of put those into your mind. We want to close that gap between poverty and sustainability. We want to give people the tools to work with to be able to sustain themselves. Now, I am Kimberly Colquhoun. I am the senior executive producer of IBM TV. And IBM TV is founded by Nick Palveda and myself. And I'm hoping Nick will be able to join us this morning. But Nick and I met years ago at a PBS hackathon. I am an engineer by trade for 40 years. And I have an invention that I'm trying to launch. And I go out to hackathons. Do you know what a hackathon is?
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm hoping some viewers will know what it is, but it's where really great engineer software developers gather, and it's also hardware, and they build things in a weekend, right? It's like a competition, and you're given an idea, or you come up with an idea, and you get to build it in the weekend and pitch it at the end of the weekend. So I'm wondering, what is PBS doing at a hackathon? So I go to it. Somebody gave me a ticket, and they were expensive tickets, by the way. So I'm like, I better go. And so I go, and there's this guy who says, I want to teach people financial literacy. Mm-hmm. But it's boring, and I want to make it fun. And I'm like, boy, is it ever boring. I get you. You know, I did bookkeeping through college and stuff, and there he is. So the interesting thing is that we connected, and in that connection, I told him up front, you know, I am an engineer. I'll help you get your idea going, but you'll never see me on that side of the camera. I am a boardroom, courtroom, classroom person, not public. You know, I hire my own public speakers. And he just nodded his head, and he said, this is what I want to do. And he showed me Money Masters TV. And I go, wow, that's really cool. You got all these guys lined up? Because not yet, but I'm going to air at Campbell University the first week of August. And I go, wow, okay, that's cool. Maybe you'll invite me. Well, he did. He invited me to be a panelist, not a guest.
Serendipity set in. Yeah, serendipity means it was a random thing, random events.
Right. It was random events, but we connected. You know, I was there. I was reliable. And if he invited me somewhere, I always
reliability is very important. Sure. Yes. Okay. Here's what we find out in the world here. Okay, people aren't reliable. I mean, the thing is, computers are reliable generally. Even though yesterday I spent all day having to boot up my computer. Okay, but people are not reliable, and they don't realize how important that is. In other words, half your job is just to show up. And people don't do that. And so the thing is, she shows up. Okay, very, very important, showing up. And you'd think that wouldn't be a very important skill. In other words, it seems to be pretty easy, especially, Sharif, since you have a PhD. You know, they put you through all these hoops. You have to do all this work and all this other stuff. And then when you graduate, you find out people don't show up, and you're going like, what's going on here? You know, in other words, you ask them to be at a certain point in time. Just like myself, I didn't show up on time. I apologize. I was desperately searching the internet for the link. Okay, Ankit, I'm serious. Ankit sent me, I'm going like, okay, we'll be on StreamYard. As a matter of fact, I was going to do a close-up of Kim, but then I go, I don't control the boards.
We don't have the board.
I don't have the boards. So the thing is, I can't control anything. I'm not used to that. You know, who controls the boards on this, Ankit?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I know I don't, you know, and so
yeah, right.
So the thing is, you know, you got to be able to control the boards. You got to show up. And Malaysia, I guess we're going to be talking about Malaysia today, right, Sharif?
Yes. Basically, already we are trying. World Talent Economy Forum, we introduce IBM TV. We have different guests from around the world. Okay. And as much as possible, even South Asia, Asia Pacific, we try to introduce IBM TV. And most important part of for me, it's very interesting that you are professor. Both of you have academically, you have a lot of engagement. Yeah. And most important thing is that IBM, I find that you have diversified integration with different kind of topic.
Right.
Many things, even like startup, technology, economy, healthcare, law, like education, many interesting things. That is the things that is very, very valuable for me. Even let's say when I discuss with different professors and other things, they said, "Oh, I'm only expert on this. I do not know other than that."
Right. They're what they call subject matter experts, and that's what we want, is to bring a subject matter expert around that subject. But if you, and I don't know what you have on traditional TV in Malaysia, but if you go here, tonight will be The Bachelor or The Voice or, you know, competition between cars. I mean, stupid TV, but to be honest
with you. Money Masters. We used to be on Sunday night, remember?
Well, yeah, but we were on the Biz TV network. I am talking about regular TV network. It's dummied down. Okay, it really is dummied down, at least here in the United States. It's so bad, I can't even watch it anymore. It's really, really bad. So the thing is, to bring a subject matter expert on, almost like a TED Talk, is something very valuable for us at IBM TV. Monday, we're going to have a lecturer from Harvard University on Monday morning. Okay, and she's going to be speaking about leadership, which is very interesting. You know, interesting concept because everybody has different ideas. But then I have a subject matter expert. The dean of BYU University Law School is going to be on. We also have the dean of Case Western University. And see, what I'm going to try to do is get them both together on the same program. And we're bringing in a Washington correspondent right now. He's going to be on tomorrow also, guys, in case you don't know, tomorrow morning. He's an attorney formerly with the National Labor Relations Board, but is basically going to be out meeting and greeting people in Washington, D.C., in an apolitical stance, because one problem I've seen on the political shows here, Sharif, they don't give people much time. They give you 5 seconds. And if you know, you cannot really explain a position in 5 seconds. I mean, it's impossible. But that's the TV here. The media here is pretty bad. I've been telling a lot of people about Malaysia. You're a wonderful country. By the way, it shuts everybody up. Okay. And then I say, here's what I tell them, Sharif. I go, they have a country of 32 million people. 32 million people. They have 125 coronavirus deaths. Okay. No matter what stat they bring in from Europe or the United States, Malaysia beats us. And here's the problem they have here, Sharif. We have blinders on when it comes to Malaysia. We only look at Europe and what they do in the United States. They ignore Malaysia doesn't exist. By the way, Japan doesn't exist. Vietnam doesn't. All you guys out there, you just don't even exist. So they never look at who you are and what you do, which is a big mistake over here. Because whatever you're doing, at least for coronavirus, I don't know how your economy is going, but coronavirus is certainly correct. So, you know, you should have
so here's the funny thing. The Sharif is interviewing us like we interview people. So you got to tell everybody who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Okay. I can tell you. Yes. Okay. Then do I get to go first?
Well,
yes, I think we can start from.
Right. Yeah, no one knows. No one knows. Okay.
We're supposed to be who you are, where you're from, what you do.
Yeah. Good question. Well, I'm actually originally from Florida. I live in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, aka the Research Triangle Park between Duke, North Carolina State, and the University of North Carolina. It's purportedly we have a big research center here, and IBM actually is the biggest landlord here. That's how we ran into them. I'm a professor at the Graduate Tax Program for Northeastern University in Boston. I've been lead faculty for 10 years now. We're going on our 10th year at Northeastern, where I teach at the Graduate Tax Program at Northeastern. I've also been an adjunct professor of law at Campbell University in Campbell. I'm a member of the Florida Bar Association, licensed to practice law before the U.S. Tax Court, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and the United States Supreme Court. And I've been to all those courts, including the United States Supreme Court, arguing cases it was my case, along with an international firm called Ropes and Gray. I've also been, a CEO of an actuarial firm in Salt Lake City, and the founder director of IBM TV, which currently broadcasts in over 100 countries. Pretty fast startup. I mean, over 100 countries with like you said, a variety of different types of program, so that we're continually expand. We're very happy to be talking to the people in Malaysia, because it builds a bridge between us and Kuala Lumpur, which over here, Sharif, there are no Malaysian shows. In other words, like when you first came on board, I'm going like, oops, where is it? Because I have to go back to my globe, spin the globe and find it, and I was going like, wow. And then I started getting involved a little bit more, because you've been showing up. That's really great. Explaining to us narrow-minded Americans about the great country you have over there. So we're happy to have you on board, and basically that's what I do.
Yes. Thank you. I want to go to Madam Kimberly. Can you please introduce?
Yeah, real quick. Kimberly Colquhoun. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina with Nick. I was explaining to you guys how we got to where we are. I am a 40 years engineer. I helped start the very first fiber network in the world. Sat on the standards committee back in 93. All of this evolved in 93. You might be getting fiber now, but we actually started in 93. I've owned my own startups, a few of them. One of them was a telephone company in 5 states. We did very, very well and raised over $134 million in one round. So, but that was a few years back. Think times have changed, and so it's not as easy. One of the things I like about what we do at IBM TV is we actually talk about these things on TV in coffee shop style, right? Because when we were doing interviews of some of these world famous people that Nick was bringing onto the show for us to interview, I realized our best conversations were after the show at the coffee shop or at lunch. And we were talking about things that we were doing every day, not just our lives and our history, but the real activity. And I go, why can't we have that? So that's what this has been all about. And thank you, Sharif, for talking about all the great different diversities that we do talk about, because it's not just a diversity in people and cultures, which is very, very important. The way each culture does business is different, but also the different cultures of businesses, right? Which are very diverse and very important. Each one has a place. A hairdresser has a place, right? And very, very important. I'm not going to go all into women, but medical, healthcare, research, cancer research. I mean, all of these things are very, very important. And that's what we want to build and do. So I've had a lot of years in startups. I have to agree with Nick that this one is a very fast ramping up startup. Usually we've put in a few years in Money Masters, but IBM TV has not been around that long. So this has been very fast, but you can say it's the team and reliable people like you that want to come on board, and you're there. And Jim Eade and Sasha Starr and Alexander, all of these people, Zach and Mark Lee. I mean, I don't want to forget anyone.
Sound like the Academy Awards.
I
don't want to forget anyone.
Which we do want to have, but I want to do it on a different scale, right? But we're
going to have the IBM TV Awards,
right? But it's going to be different. But all of these things are very, very important. And we could not, I'm going to tell you right now, this would not be where it is today without Ankit and Win.
Oh, the chosen one.
I always forget Win. Oh my God, Win! If you're listening, I'm not forgetting you. I promise. Win is behind the scenes at all times. He likes it that way. But Ankit and Win are part of the core team that has really just made sure everything ran as smooth as you feel like it's moving. And Ankit, I'm going to hand the ball to you.
The chosen one has arrived.
Yes, Ankit actually doing a fantastic job, and most importantly, even in our WT forum when we do different kind of session or anything, he come and even he asks questions, what's going on, what's happening. So he's a very good researcher as well. I think he's a very good asset for IBM TV.
The chosen one has arrived.
Yeah,
the chosen one. He made the 90-day cut. He made the 90-day cut, which will explain.
By the way, he doesn't sleep. I honestly think he's a computer that's on all the time. He's a virtual being.
So Mr. Ankit, yes.
So I'm Ankit Khandelwal. I'm based out of Delhi, and I'm an entrepreneur since birth, basically, because my family is all into traditional businesses. If you talk about generations, we are doing businesses in generations. But this is the first time someone is doing some kind of business in service industry, because they don't understand what is service industry. It's all about tangible products and then buying them, selling them, producing them in different markets. So that's what, how I started my business sense, because I still remember we don't have any internship concept based in India. There was no internship, nothing like that. But we always used to know that what's happening in our business side, basically, what's happening at our father's business and our uncle's business. And then there are a lot of business talk. So, people from while discussing and knowing what's happening, business is good, doing good or bad, we understand the market much before than other kids are. And we know the value of money and all those stuff. But apart from doing business, we have to study as well. Because in our society, now everyone is doing a lot of masters and all this stuff. But when we talk about my father's generation, they have done bachelor's, and bachelor's is the top studies or education degree they have achieved so far. So that was something which is a drastic change, and I'm one of the few of my family who have gone beyond and done masters, and then people follow that path as well. So while doing all those things, I'm always a learner, and I wanted to learn and implement and try to be perfect the best I can, and try to optimize every day in my life. So if I'm doing a show right now, I make sure that tomorrow we'll do something else so that we have a better show or something, basically. So it's more about learning and searching and all those things. In that part, I have learned and I have managed all those things. But I think apart from study, exposure is something which is important, because if you have a good study, if you've done from Stanford or Harvard or Oxford, but if you don't have a right exposure of different countries, so that won't give you an edge, because right now it's all about globalization. And I believe in a concept of global citizen. And I believe I'm one of them, basically. And whenever we think about IBM TV or any product or any venture, it's all about global. How we can make it to a global level. It's not. So suppose if you are doing a show right now from Malaysia, it's not a Malaysian show anymore. It's produced from Malaysia, but it's a global show. Anyone can watch it live on different stream. So that's what the concept. And when you go globally, you need to talk to a lot of people in different languages, different time zones, and you need to understand, respect culture, and then trying to create a team which is helpful for them as well and helpful for you as well. And then the important point is that we have to win for everyone. It should not be your win that, okay, I'm winning and then everyone is losing. It's not like that. So make sure that if we have a team, so team goes well, and you have to have a long-term approach. You can't think that, okay, after this I will ditch them and I will have my own thing. It doesn't want to work, basically. So we are very positive. And then if you ask me how I met Nick and Kim and how IBM TV started for me, so I think that story is, it's been like 2.5 years or so. I'm active on startup culture and on social media and all those stuff. And I've been traveling to different countries since like 7-10 years now. My first trip was US, but after that I've been to a lot of countries. But now one day I realized that there was a guy I don't know, and then that guy is inviting or wants some kind of admission on all the social media startup groups around the world. And I was like, who is Nick Palveda? Because he wants to enter on like 70 to 100 groups on Facebook. And I was like, okay, let me help him. So I've made sure that I confirm his participant on all the startup groups. And then we started talking, and then Nick asked me that, do you have any broadcasting system in India? I said, yeah, we have a lot of broadcasting. We have around 500 plus channels in India, but I'm not sure what kind of broadcasting you're talking about, because we talk about our own, because if you come to India, it's a big world. Like US people, they have their own world. They don't want to think what's happening in Malaysia or India. Likewise, in India, I mean, people who are not familiar with other countries, although there are news coming up, but we have a bigger world. We have like 500 languages, 500 channels, politics, sports, events, Hollywood, Bollywood, everything is going on. So no one has the time what's happening with Trump and what's happening in Malaysia and Singapore and things like that. But then we start talking, and then one day I remember when I was in US, so Nick said, okay, let's have a meeting. So I said, okay, I'm in Washington, DC. So I don't know, by default or something, I thought that that's an offline meeting because that's what happened in India. And that was supposed to be an online meeting. I was not prepared for that. So I messaged Nick, I'm waiting at that hotel. I mean, where you want me to come? I said, you have to come online. Why you were waiting at a hotel? He was also surprised at what I'm asking, basically. And then I couldn't able to attend that meeting because I was not aware. And then from next time onwards, we are meeting for IBM TV Board of Advisors every Friday at 10 a.m. EST. And then it's how it started. But when Kim said IBM TV is a part of a team and it's been 1 year, I think it's been like 4 years because they have done the roadmap and they have done all the work in 3 years. They have learned the good parts and the bad parts and all those tunneling, and then we just grabbed that learning and implemented it. So I think it's like 4 years of journey, which is a tough journey for both of them. But I'm involved since April 2019, and that's how IBM TV started. And after talking to a lot of people in different age groups and different domains and different expertise, we started a lot of channels just by our sixth sense, basically. And I think we matched our sixth sense as well because we just have to discuss a couple of messages, chat here and there, and then that's how we started the show. And we are trying to start 2 to 3 shows every week. So that's how IBM TV's journey is going around. And we are happy whatever we are doing right now, but it's about the team effort.
Yes.
I like your sixth sense input, Ankit. That's beautiful because it is true. I feel like we've had to do very little talking to make sure things. It's like we know, like we understand each other. But he is right. Nick and I, we put in a lot of experience into.
I'll translate. We made a lot of mistakes.
A lot of mistakes.
That's called experience.
Well, it's expensive. This is what I tell people. Experience is very, very expensive. But we did a lot of research, attended a lot of the NAPTI conference, became members of the industry, where most people don't think to do that. Because Nick will ask, the first time he'll meet people will say, I'm in the industry. What's your first question, Nick?
Oh, have you been to a NAPTI meeting?
Yeah.
and then the response is, what's NAPTI? Then you know that. And these are people that have been in the industry for like 10, 20 years. And what they're seeing, because the media industry is huge, Sharif, but what they're seeing is the industry from the bottom. And they don't realize NAPTI is the top, which is the National Association of Professional Television Executives. So you can sit in the media industry for literally decades and not know the organization that's the biggest buyer and seller of media in the world. But it shocked me, and we've talked to quite a few of them. Well, I remember NAPTI. Do you know what NAPTI is? And they don't even know what it is. It's also the oldest industry. Media has been around in this format for that long. In other words, I think NAPTI's been around for like 50 years. But television in and of itself and media has not been around as long as people think. And one thing that attracted me, because see, actuarially, you always look at numbers. Ankit, when I look at his numbers, he goes, oh, I got 1.3 billion Facebook followers. Okay, I mean, there's 1.3 billion people in India. The United States doesn't have that number. We have about 330 million. And so that's a big number. Another number we looked at, Netflix. Netflix was and is the fastest growing stock on the New York Stock Exchange with over 4,000% rate of return. And then we got some new data that comes in that media in general will expand something like 10 times. In other words, the capacity is absolutely huge. And then I look at another demographic, the world demographic, which you're looking at, Sharif. World, we have 7.8 billion people. Right. And Malaysia has 32 million. I mean, not bad, but the United States, 300 million, not bad. But see, if you have access to 7.8 billion people, you have, a much better demographic pool. You can put in better programs. You can expand your audience. And the World Wide Web, which we're beaming on right now, plus other forms of media, has a reach of 4.3 billion people. Now, a reach of 4.3 billion people doesn't mean that 4.3 billion people are watching IBM TV. It means we have the capacity to right now be watched by 4.3 billion people. In the United States, that's impossible. We only have 300 million. So there's no way we could ever have the reach of any traditional program. So when you look at all the numbers, then at the end of the day, IBM TV makes sense. I mean, I'm just going, okay, makes sense. And if you look at the numbers, okay, we're pulling in Malaysia programming, which right now isn't even seen in the United States. If you went today and you said, hey, I'm going to turn on a program and look at a program in Malaysia. No, you're not. Why not? It's not offered. You know, and that's the reason, Sharif, you said you're from Malaysia. I'm going, oh, Malaysia, okay. Where is that? Okay, it's on the other side of the pond, the big pond. Okay. You know, and I've been doing, you know, some research. I'm reading books about Malaysia. In other words, Bali is part of, is over there somewhere, you know, so, you know, there's a lot of interesting things. It's close to Indonesia. It's close to Singapore. I guess you could fly into Singapore or Kuala Lumpur and go back and forth. I mean, it looks to be a pretty neat country, and your COVID-19 statistics are just unbelievably good. And Europe and the United States should take lessons. We should send a team over there to take lessons, find out what you guys are doing, rather than being over here. We're a little pompous and arrogant. So what we do is we look at the United States, we look at our various different states, we look at Europe, and all of them are doing a bad job. Everybody in the Pan-Asian market doing a good job. New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Japan, all doing a great job containing COVID-19. Who's doing a bad job? Europe, United States. But we're too arrogant to actually do that, which is absolutely hilarious. You know, in other words, instead we're going, hey, should we send all our kids back to school? Rather than do that, we should say, are Malaysians sending all their kids back to school?
That's what I keep asking. Why are we not looking at other countries' successes are? You know, like Japan. You know, they have controlled it very well. They have their spikes, but they going to be expected. You're going to have spikes, but you control your hot zones. Malaysia has done really well. Iceland. But do you know something, Nick, that separates them from those of us who struggle? They either have a pandemic policy in place, or they have a pandemic team.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
And what's the difference? The policy means that there's a scope of work written or a scope of procedures written, and you know the people to hire in immediately, right? So you have your policies in place. So that's risk management 101, right? But our country, we not only fired our pandemic team, but we never put policies in place. If this happens, hire this person. If this happens, you do this. You know, centralize. And we've yet, you know, when our president fired the pandemic team, this is what he said: when we need them or when we have a pandemic, I'll hire them back. I'm sitting here counting the days. How long has it been?
And they're even today they're making bad deals. And
I think also what happened is that the countries like Malaysia, Hong Kong, New Zealand, and Iceland, their citizens are more disciplined as compared to countries like US, India, and others, because it's easy for them to make sure that they give the right information to the citizens, and they're accepting the thing, and then they're helping government right now. But in our countries, people are not helping, because if you're going without mask, that's not a help.
Right.
And if you're going unnecessary outside just for a walk or things like that, it's not happening, because in this pandemic, you can't go for a walk without mask and just enjoy your freedom. So that's what creates a difference between the countries like Malaysia and us, basically.
Now, one important aspect I just want to share, because when I go as a guest in a IBM TV, and I find that how you actually trying to come up with lot of information, valuable information for COVID-19 situation. It's economy, it's a policy, it's actually amazing. It's a healthcare system. This is really, really helpful. Even now I know that many people, even today, I discussed with 2-3 big universities. They have hundreds of thousands of students in Malaysia. UITM, University Information Technology Malaysia, International Islamic University, it's a Muslim world Oxford. Everybody said from the Muslim community, and University of Malaya, and some other very big universities here. They already know. Yeah, something you are running, and which is really helpful and informative. How you make this kind of plan? what's your target? Because now many people actually avoiding social media, even electronic media. They said, oh, we do not get the right information. On the other hand, you are trying to play outside the box. How you make this strategy? It's really amazing for me.
I think what we're doing is we're pulling in what is known as subject matter experts, Sharif, because, well, like I said, the people that are going to move the country and the world ahead are I call them MD PhDs. In other words, there's groups of people out there that are research oriented. They receive a medical degree. They also receive a PhD degree, and they don't spend their time actually seeing individuals in a hospital. What they do is they spend their time researching drugs and researching how to improve people's lives and stuff like that. Now, the United States does have a good cadre of these people, but they really are media shy. In other words, they don't want to be on television. Frankly, they don't have the time. I mean, they don't. So what we do is we pull from the next generation, which are your medical doctors that do have the time, that aren't doing particular research in this, but they keep up with the journals like the Lancet. The Mayo Clinic has a newsletter. John Hopkins has a newsletter. In other words, and also, as Dr. Art was telling us, they go to these specialized conferences that we are sort of not invited to. But the thing is, they go to these streaming conferences. So they really keep up with the medical aspects of it. But each one of these places, what we're looking for is subject matter experts, but not just in the United States, but around the world. Because as you pull from people around the world, like you were telling me, some of those universities that you have in Malaysia, the people in the United States aren't even familiar with those universities. That you rattle them off like everybody knows them, and I'm going like, well, wait a minute, Sharif, slow down. The people here don't even know who they are. And so the thing is, we'd like to do is have them on the show, because this way they can, showcase, highlight, what's going on over there, because the people over here just, we just really don't know. We don't get any news from Malaysia. I would say that if you were here in the United States and you listened to all the news shows, all of them tonight, all night long, all day long, here's the amount you're going to hear from Malaysia. Zero.
That's why we want to open this door, so that we allow distribution for what we call smart TV, right? Yeah. And it doesn't have, and Nick and I realize it's not just America. That's where we've expanded beyond our box. We're like, we're coming out of our box. We're not just Fox News, and we're going to give you 3 minutes of airtime. Like Fox News up in Salt Lake, they'll give a startup 3 minutes of airtime. The startup pays them $10,000 to get 3 minutes of airtime.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
And they think, oh, that's great. I'm on Fox News. Great. But that's not, I don't get to watch it here. I don't get to see it. So this startup is getting 3 minutes of fame in their local area. And I'm like, this isn't good. Why don't we open up the door? But what I discovered was the startups didn't even show up if you offered it for free.
Yeah.
So
startups are challenging, but as companies get more mature, then the thing is they do start showing up. But part of it is that I just think they just don't really understand the power of media and power of media distribution, which and then on a global scale is unbelievable. I mean, there's just tremendous amounts of power to get your message out. And today the technology allows us to do that, where even 10 years ago, it wasn't like that, because like Ankit comes in real smooth from New Delhi. I would figure he's right down the street here in North Carolina. I'm going like, how is this happening? You're coming in real clear from Malaysia. How is this happening? I mean, you can go back 10 years or maybe 5 years ago. That wasn't happening. Not if you were from Malaysia and from New Delhi. Are you kidding me? You guys are beaming across the world like smooth as you would be on a major television network. Sharif, it just didn't happen 5 or 10 years ago. So one thing when we're talking to people about IBM TV, they go, well, why are you doing this? I said, well, technology has changed. In other words, technology allows us to do stuff that we couldn't do 5 or 10 years ago. Now, why aren't the other media companies doing it? They don't recognize the technology's changed. I mean,
so time out. COVID has forced them to do this. So we kind of started this platform about a year ago, trying to get get the traction going in it. The technology changed to make it look really good. But it took us a long time, about a year ago, because we were having to download, re-edit, upload, but now we don't even have to do that. So all of a sudden we start running this, and everybody's kind of laughing at me. God, Kim, and I call it Hollywood Squares, right? And the other day I see PBS news station is doing this.
Right. Yeah.
We look better. We look a whole lot better. And then NBC was doing the squares. Right. And I think some of their people actually go to a studio, and they're filming one person in that studio at a time. So, but studios are big. They can be 10 feet apart from each other. The cameras are 20 feet from you sometimes. So, but this is the new platform. This is what I'm telling this is when they're saying Netflix is saying that there's a new platform on its way. This is it. Nick and I have been around long enough to know that, to film something in media for news, say, on set or on location is $1,000 a minute for a bare bone show, bare bone.
Yeah, all right.
And that doesn't include getting it edited and on air if you're doing post.
Yeah,
right?
It's very expensive. And I don't know if you guys ever get these Marvel Spider-Man movies over there. Okay, but Spider-Man, go and watch it again. Here's the cost. They usually spend about $400 million to do a Spider-Man movie. It runs about 120 minutes. Okay, well, go do the analysis. When you watch a Spider-Man movie, you're watching, some cases, 1 to 3 million a minute being spent on that movie. Now think about that. So every time I go and I watch a Marvel movie, I'm going, there goes 1 million. I wait for another 60 seconds. There goes another million. Okay, in other words, that's how expensive some of the media is to actually produce. What has happened is the media cost has gone down dramatically if you do it correct. Okay, so when the media cost goes down, it allows entry into the market a lot faster. So we can do what we're doing a lot faster. And so right now we do have shows that come in from Nigeria, Laos, Nigeria. We have shows that are coming in from Johannesburg, South Africa. As a matter of fact, I think today we're going to have several shows from South Africa, Malaysia, and we have shows from around the world, New Delhi. I mean, and the thing is, all that was just not even really available as much as 5 years ago. Now, what allow us to do, Sharif, is actually improve as we go on, because there's these buttons, share screen, you can bring things in and bring people in. I mean, so I see the technology actually improving over the next 5 years so that our shows will be more dynamic, more interesting for the viewers who like the more educational style shows. If you want to zone out your mind into watching bumper cars on TV tonight, it's available. American Gladiator, they have all these stupid shows. Okay, they're all available, and so if you want to zone out, they're fine. But if you want to learn something about the world, you want to learn something about things that make a difference to your life, you want to learn interesting things, then that's where IBM TV has its own little niche right now, until a competitor comes in. Ankit, do you say competitors? But
to add on next and Kim's statement, we are also working on a lot of shows which are multilingual and multi-demographic and multi-time zone, because we believe that there is someone in the world watching IBM TV in different languages and different culture and different domains. So we are not restricted to only business or economics or startup. We are talking about a lot of those domains which are not covered by the mainstream media. So we have started a couple of interesting shows in last couple of weeks. One of them is Talking Upstream, where we are doing brainstorming live. So there's a whiteboard and two people are talking about something, and if you watch that show, you can come up with a business idea, or you can use their business idea and implement the thing. That's not happening anywhere in the world, basically. Yeah, it's an amazing,
coolest show. Oh my gosh, I get so into it. Like I'm texting them, "Oh, try this, try that." Oh my god,
the interactive part also. Yeah. Okay, we haven't really promoted it very much, but the people that I think you have to register at IBM TV website. Once you register, then you can actually make comments on the show. So the thing is, the audience can actually participate, Sharif. Now, years ago, that wasn't even possible, but today you can have your audience participate and ask questions on the comment section of the show. I think they have to register on the IBM TV website. So once they're registered, then they can post comments during the show. And some platforms, because I've tried on my cell phone, some cases they go, oh, you got to register on this other stuff. But if you go to IBM TV website and you register, then you can actually post comments. So there's going to be a positive evolution of this over the next several years for audience engagement. Like I said, we're bringing our first Washington, D.C. correspondent in tomorrow, by the way. Okay. Okay. So the thing is,
what time does he start tomorrow? What time?
He'll be at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. So the thing is, what we're going to do is have correspondence throughout the world so that we can, we'll go to the key cities first, but then later on we'll go, because right now, remember there was the bombing in Beirut. Okay. Right. It wasn't a bombing. It was kind of a mistake. They just who would do this? Put fertilizer and all of a sudden, boom. Okay. So we would have a correspondent there on the floor speaking about that immediately. And that's something that we can do today that we couldn't do really, 5 or 10 years ago. So there's a lot of opportunity to expand our platform, expand what we're doing, create international bridges as opposed to border walls, which will, like you said, Sharif, will benefit everybody. If you build the bridge, people can cross. If you build a wall, then what good is it? So
we're building walls.
Yeah, we're building walls and bridge. We're not building walls. We're building bridges, and this way, people will have more of an understanding of the culture and the positive things in the exchange. And this has actually been going on in humankind for years. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, but I know what this is.
Live and let live.
Live the American way.
And we do it like this. We also manifest our own destiny, and that's what we do.
If you think about it, Venice, Italy was the originator of they call it the Silk Road. They actually had a road that went all the way to China and back. In other words, the merchants were getting, basically very affluent by trading with China back in the 1400s and the 1300s. And so what happens is that whenever you look at trade and you look at manufacturing and trade, it actually builds up economies around the world. It builds up the standard of living of people around the world. But the thing is, so when you do build these bridges, you can build them to actually help people around the world. And media is one way that you can do it. Very difficult because media is very controlled, at least in this country and some other countries we go into. And so we're not the only ones that have a controlled media. In other words, there's 5 companies. I was telling Sharif,
but TV,
control everything.
We don't control. We have a rule and a policy: clean and clean, professional, and green.
Clean and evergreen.
No profanity, no porn. We want educational and fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
That if we can make it evergreen where we can play it forever, that's good. But don't worry, because historical markings are very good too. So even if you timestamp and date your interviews, that's fine, because historical markings are very important as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
But educational is very, very important, and entertaining. We want it to be fun,
entertaining. Right.
Nick, financial literacy is boring.
It is boring.
Oh my God.
Absolutely no question that financial stuff is boring. But the thing is, what you can do is package it and make it entertaining. So the thing is, and there's a guy named Kramer who's on one of the CNBC networks who actually does make it entertaining. There's a way you can take anything that's boring and make it entertaining, but you have to spend some time with making the product more entertaining. Also, our resident, the gifted one, is going to be back on Thursday. So he's going. I got a hold of him. Like I said, some of these people, they were kind of like, well, a little shy about that. But anyway, he's going to be back on Thursday on Podcasters Thursday. So we're starting to build and getting some really good people on board. And I think doing that, the thing is going to expand all the opportunities of what we're doing. And like I said, I do want to hear more about Malaysia. And you even said there's Malaysian food. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now I know Indian food. There's a great Indian restaurant I'll take Ankit to. I know that in Sanford, North Carolina. Okay, the thing is, but I believe the best Indian restaurants are in India. They're not in London, according to Jamid. Okay, and Malaysian food. Kim, have you ever had Malaysian food here?
I've never had Malaysian food, so I think we're going
to. That's what we're saying. Okay, when you said that, Sharif, I was going like, wait a minute. There's Malaysian food. There's Malaysian cuisine. It's not even heard of it. If you open up a Malaysian restaurant here, we have a Lebanese restaurant here. I mean, it's pretty diverse because Raleigh-Durham attracts a lot of IT people. So we have a Lebanese restaurant, we have an Indian restaurant, we have a Chinese restaurant, we have a Thai restaurant, Malaysian restaurant. Oops. What's that? So hopefully we'll be able to learn a little bit more about the Malaysian cuisine that exists over there. And I think, that would be great. I mean, be able to have something like that on IBM TV. But you have to bring in somebody who knows how to cook. I don't know.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Ankit knows how to cook. And instead of taking him to an Indian restaurant, what we're going to do is we'll set up a kitchen and buy all the food and he can cook for us.
I just need
He loves to cook. Yeah. But I think we're nearing the hour, and I want to thank Sharif not only for having us on, but also I think you're going to be hosting our morning shows. Is that what I?
Yes. Yes. Yes, definitely. I want to do that, and definitely we're gonna make a plan with Ankit and your teams, and we will bring a lot more different Malaysian peoples, right. Different cultural peoples, and those who enjoy, I think, IBM TV. And one specific things I have in mind, basically, I find one of the important parts you are trying to explore about financial literacy.
Right.
Yes, actually, how you want to develop this kind of knowledge, because I want to say this is very important. Mm-hmm. In my life, I meet with many people, many cultural people, many things, but this is the important things. It's actually missing from our education system, from our cultures and everything. So how we can grow this kind of knowledge?
Well, part of it is like we run the investment show with Sasha on Wednesday. And see, something that you find out is people aren't trained as to how to buy stocks, sell stocks, do what he calls covered call writing. In other words, they're not just basically trained because no one gives them an education on what to do. Now, Lynn shows about the dollar store. First, you got to save some money. Then you got to open up a brokerage account. Then you can start investing and trading. It can be a very addictive thing, but in other words, because all of a sudden you become interested in ownership of companies, trading, dividends, but there's nothing like learning by doing. So you can go to our investment show, and then eventually what happens that we'll train people how to do investing. We're also going to have shows on real estate, because real estate is usually somebody's biggest investment. In other words, they buy a house, they'll rent an apartment, they'll be involved in some form of real estate transaction. And we're going to bring people on that are subject matter experts in the area, because there's, again, a lot of mistakes to be made in real estate and a lot of ways you can make money in real estate. But when you go to these traditional shows, you're getting these people that want to sell you a kit on how to learn that, right? And or even investing. If you go to a seminar on investing, they're trying to sell you how, give them money and they'll show you how to do investing. Well, on our platform, we're not going to do that. We're going to bring people on that will train you how to do this stuff, but they're not selling any, hey, show up to my investment seminar. We'll show you how to invest or show you how to buy real estate. But listen, it's important, because I don't know if they even have mortgages over there, and I don't know how Malaysia works, but here, a lot of people don't borrow money to actually purchase a house, and they don't know what the interest rate is, or they'll borrow, because you have Sharia law, okay, and they have these credit cards with outrageous interest rates. I don't know if they have them over there. Okay, they should have Sharia law over here, at least to stop stuff like that, because the interest rates are absolutely horrible. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to work with people to give them basic education all the way to the highest level of education in the area of financial literacy, because it is very important. I know there's a lot of protests going here, there, and everywhere, but the fact is, how you maintain your financial life will make more of a difference than probably anything else that you do. So it's a very important mission of what we're doing at IBM TV, is to help people on that area, is to make them more financially savvy in their decision-making process, which also, unfortunately, our traditional education system doesn't go through. In other words, I don't know. Did you take mortgages or how to buy a house when you were in college, Sharif?
No.
You know, did you take how to buy and sell commercial real estate?
No, never.
How about residential real estate?
No.
101?
Even yes, even this is very interesting. Today, I do discuss with one of the education group. I actually help them to build up their business in Bangladesh. So even when we build up different curriculum courses, we never think in that way. That is true.
Right.
So that is beautiful things from IBM.
Yeah, right. And even leasing commercial real estate is also something important. And I've leased a lot of properties. Okay, and I find out I learned things the hard way when you have to pay for it. Okay, that a lot of them, they'll have $1 per square foot, and then they'll have this thing called CAM. Okay, CAM. What's that? Common area maintenance. All right. Now, a lot of people that rent, they'll look at the $1 per square foot, but not look at CAM and what does CAM control. Anybody who's a business owner or someday going to lease real estate, and if you're a business owner, you're eventually going to lease commercial real estate, needs to know about $1 per square foot and CAM and what it stands for. You know how many courses do you take in CAM and rental real estate? Did you take any, Sharif? No, it's not offered. Ankit, you take commercial real estate leasing?
Never.
No, unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way. Okay, which means going out and renting commercial properties, leasing them up, having to pay CAM during the ups and the down period. We're going to go over that so people will understand it, because at a certain point in time, not all of our audience, but some of our audience are actually going out. They'll open up a business. They're going to rent real estate, and they're going to be faced with the first time this lease. What does it mean to them? What's this CAM mean? What does it mean on the upturn and the downturn? What are these rent escalators? I mean, this is stuff that should be everybody's common knowledge, but it isn't. You know, and this is even if you rent a coffee shop. In other words, you rent space for a coffee shop, you're going to get faced with all this stuff. And I think it's important for everybody to know, but you can't get that education. You go to school tomorrow. Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, Madam Kimberly, you have a very good record of fundraising and very interesting experience you always share. And can you share your behind the scene history, like how you make it, how you raise too much of money for startup and these things, which is very interesting and motivational factor, I think, for our audience. Yeah.
And it's changed a lot since I used to do a lot of fundraising, and Nick is really a great educational platform for me, learning different ways to do it. I had old school ways. So I learned from my family. My family were entrepreneurs. I chose to be an engineer. So engineering is money. I was a bookkeeper going through engineering, so I understand money, finance. Nobody taught me how to buy a house or how to save or invest. I saved every penny I made, but I always kept it liquid. I was always scared to put it into any kind of investment. Nobody ever taught me how to invest money and let my money work for me. I always worked for my money. And there's a difference, right? A huge difference. And this didn't come to me until later in life, because the first time I did invest money, I was kind of young, and I listened to the wrong people, right? I went to this event that IBM hosted, and these guys sold us on something. I thought because IBM was allowing these guys to pitch it there, that it was all legal. And I bought into it, lost a lot of money I worked hard for. I was very young, and I'm like, that's the last time I do that. I'll put my money into the bank. But raising money, I think you have to have some key elements. I call them the 5 Ps, right? You have to have a purpose. Number one, just a purpose. You have to have an idea, right? And then you need to have passion in that idea, because if you can't sell it, nobody's going to buy it from you. So you got to believe in it more than anyone else, right? People aren't going to buy from you if you're not going to believe in it. And then you need to plan and prepare, right? You don't just have this thing. You need to plan and prepare. I don't care what anyone says. They go, oh, don't do a business plan. You got to have some idea, some roadmap, and then have a backup plan to that. As Nick and I always say, what's your plan B? Okay, boss, you got plan A. What's your plan B? What's your plan C? And working with Nick, we just really makes me think about that even more. I always did that, but it's nicer when you've got somebody to talk about it. So your team is very important. Okay. So when you're pitching all of this to your people, now you got to pursue it. You got your plan together. Now you got to go pursue it. Right. So when you're pitching to these people, they want to see a team, because in this day and time, you cannot do anything without a good, solid, reliable, creditable team. And that's, we have a rule at IBM TV that you have to, where I'm not going to say what the rule is, but we have,
I know what the rule is.
We have this little rule, and it's not that hard, but the thing that I tell people is be reliable. All right. That's what we look for more than anything. But you're pursuing it. And I'm going to tell everyone, no matter how well you plan things, your roadmap's going to change. So be prepared to shift, but be persistent. All right. Don't ever give up. And you've got to learn how to maybe pivot or change, because something's always going to hit you. And some people are lucky. Maybe it goes exactly the way they planned. When I started the telephone company, I knew telephone inside and out. And what I didn't know, because I set the standards for the industry. I sat on standards committees. So when I branched out, it was a dare. Somebody dared me to do it because no woman had ever done it before. So it was, and I was fully handicapped at the time. I was completely disabled. I couldn't use my arms or my legs, and didn't know if I would ever get to that point again. But somebody dared me. And so with the help of a computer that I could use by voice, I did my research. I went out and got the applications myself and ramped it up. But raising money, that because I was passionate about what I was doing, was easy. People, and it was an easy sell for me because I understood telecom so well. When somebody would say, "Why would I bother?" I go, "Why wouldn't you?" I have one question I would ask investors, and that question would close the door every time and say, "Yes, we will invest in this." And so you've got to believe in what you do, and be ready to accept no. You see, my telephone company was easy for whatever reason. Everything we did, we had a great team, and everything we did, right down to our marketing. Our marketing gave us 100% return. Our attrition rate was zero. Attrition rate zero. You don't see that. We would get thank you cards from our clients. Have you ever written a thank you card to your phone company?
No. Are you kidding?
Our customer service department was the best in the world. And I still got the thank you card, because I know you will never see that ever again in your lifetime. So to me, customer service became the most important part of our company, because I didn't want to lose one customer. I didn't. My goal was to, unless they passed away, our goal was to never, and we didn't. And so those are the things you have to put in your mind, what's valuable. In today's time, they say that, customer is king. You have to put in your mind what is the most valuable in your company you're building, and your most valuable asset, right? And that's what you've got to pitch. And in today's time, a lot of investors, they don't want to hear you're going to put the customer first. They don't,
because they've heard that over and over again. It becomes a cliche after that.
They want to hear what money you're going to give back to them, and they don't care what you do to the customer to get it. And Google changed the world in quality of product. And I'm not saying that their end product is bad, but it was their product they built. They didn't build a product that would be reliable. They knew it would break, and they said, we're not going to waste time in fixing or repairing. We're just replacing. So they would have bread racks of hard drives sitting out in the open. And when died, they would throw it away but they weren't building a product to last. And I thought that was interesting. Look how they are today, right? The number one in the world. They're
search engine technology.
Yeah.
Part of Alphabet.
So they changed.
We'll have to look at their stock on the investment show, Alphabet.
There we go.
Yeah.
But while talking about Google, basically, so I'm one of the Google partners around the world. There are a lot of partners. But I have told Google I'm working with them with a small issue. And I told them that if you are not ready to solve this issue, that creates a lot of mess, because no one expects such thing from Google. Because when you talk about Google, you think that everything is peace and everything will be sorted out. And then the problem with them is that they don't know how much business they're losing, because they're getting more business than whatever they're losing.
Right.
Yeah, so they don't care.
And a simple logic is that if you take any service from Google, so you are paying to US, you are getting services from Ireland, you are talking to someone in Lebanon, and you are getting service in India. So you have to talk to 3 teams to get those sorted out.
Yeah.
And that is a pain, but I think Google can sort it out. It's just a case study which I would like to discuss whenever we have enough time, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, the customer service is, to me, lacking in the world, not just in the United States. But I think our hour, unfortunately, is up. This has been a lot of fun. Kind of reliving. It's been a year, almost 4 years that we filmed the first Money Master show at Campbell University. I got my cup. So, 4 years ago this week, Nick and I did our first shows together. So
yes, one important thing I always think that caring is very important. Adding value for the society is very important. And what I see that IBM TV, you are caring about different community, different cultures. Even I saw, even you are caring about African community, Asian community, different culture, even India, different cultural people. So like how you learn these cultural aspects, like this is very important. I saw that different cultural people, when they join IBM TV, they become very happy. They love to work with your team, and they love to engage with IBM team. This is very important for me because you caring about people, you caring about different culture. So can you share us already you I think you are promoting your channel around 100 countries. So yeah.
That's something you're not going to see in any other network. When you go work, this is what I told Nick, I cannot work for another network ever again. You're not going to see that care because it's all about money, right? And they will bleed you to death. They don't care about you. And so one of the things I told Nick is that if we can't own our own network where we could treat people with respect, and maybe the respect will grow. I don't want to have anything more to do with TV because I love what we do, but it was killing us, right, Nick?
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate in the United States. We're very driven by that, but we are not currently a not-for-profit enterprise. And Sharif, that's part of our mission, is to go out and seek other worlds and civilizations, like they did in Star Trek. But the thing is, we don't have to fly anywhere. We can actually do that by way of media. And so we can see what's going on in Nigeria, because today we just don't have a lot of exposure in what's going on in South Africa, what's going on in Nigeria. We've had people in Kenya because they have a big chess community, and the chess community has been really great, but they're all over the world. So the thing is, they're used to interacting with people from all over the world because there's some universal language, and chess happens to be one of them. Math is another one. There's a lot of universal languages that are out there, and this ability gives us I think a rich flavor of what's going on around the world that you just don't see anywhere else. But I think that we're going to continue doing that because frankly it's very interesting. As opposed to watching cars ram into each other tonight on TV, where I can watch what's going on in Lagos, Nigeria. For me, I'd rather see what's going on in Lagos, Nigeria. Having 2 cars ram into each other and all the cars run around hitting each other is boring for one. Yeah. Okay, and I think a lot of the other people around the world think that's boring too. I'd rather listen to Bro talk about what's going on in Lagos, Nigeria. So or listen to you and find out what's going on in Malaysia than 2 cars bumping into each other tonight. I mean, I just can't handle that.
One of the great things too is what we've learned from every country. And like I've always learned now with this COVID situation, anything that happens in Australia 2 weeks later is the same thing happening to us. Yeah. So that's what's been very, just.
Oh yeah. Willie Hill goes, this was months ago. He goes, we're out of toilet paper in Australia. I was going, weird. Are you kidding me? Then 2 weeks later, we're out of toilet paper in the United States. And I'm going like, weird how that happens. But if you think about it, even COVID-19, a tiny little virus in Wuhan, China, which frankly, I didn't even know where Wuhan is. So Vivian is putting a show together. It's on IBM TV. I think it was every Tuesday or Wednesday. Every Wednesday she does Vivian's China about all these little cities. Little cities, they're huge. Some of them have 10 million people around China you don't know about. Wuhan, I hadn't even heard about until this little virus came in Wuhan, China. But think about it, Sharif, how connected we are. A little tiny virus in Wuhan, China, around the world in no time. You see how connected we are. So yes, the farmers market in Wuhan, China is very interesting for me today, because it can affect your life here and it can affect everybody's life. So that's
why we do this.
Why we do this. You're right.
We do this because we want to connect the world. We want to build bridges, not walls. We want to learn from everyone, because I feel like, because I heard from the board of advisors several weeks ahead of what was going on, I shut down early for my health. I was able to help my son who was up in New York. Hey, you know what? This is going to hit hard. Separate yourself now. And,
So, and we got a lot of eyes tuning on Malaysia, because every time somebody mentions Europe, the United States, well, look how good we're doing. We have 800,000 people. We only killed 5,000. Seriously, they had that. It's called South Dakota. And they were touting it. Look how good we are. We have 800,000, killed 5,000. I always post Malaysia, 32,125 deaths. They shut up. They can't believe what you guys are doing. I said, look, you got to follow what these people are doing. Don't follow what they're doing in South Dakota. South Dakota not doing that good. Or same with Europe, not doing good. Go follow what they're doing in Malaysia. Because whatever you guys are doing on COVID-19 is working. But the problem is that the next question is always, where's Malaysia? I got that globe, baby. I got the globe sitting right back there.
Yes, already there are... There are good audience response. They are saying that thanks IBM TV for nice discussion and your presence. Mohammad Shoail Rana, he also said that thanks for excellent knowledge sharing program. Audience wait for that program to learn new information every day. Yes, IBM TV have a lot of activities they have. So you can watch IBM TV, and from the IBM TV you can learn a very interesting thing. I'm sure I enlighten myself when I go and I sharing my knowledge. Even I listen from different background people and the different expert people. It's really valuable. So from our WT forum, we always love to promote the best knowledgeable things. So Professor Nee, Professor Kimberly, with the help of Ankit, they are doing a very good job. So I request all of our audience, you can join with IBM TV, you can help them, you can collaborate them. They have many interesting activities. So yes, I want actually the final remarks from your side, that how actually we can grow a better global community, because I think IBM TV ultimately growing in that way. So what's your advice? What's your suggestion for how we can build better global community? Because we have a lot of challenges. We never know what will happen next 2, 3, 4 years. So what's your advice and from all of our panelists here?
Yeah. Well, I think Ankit, who's the chosen one over there, has a big handle on it, because the barriers that we have are geographic and language. Fortunately, 62 countries, we find out, because I learned things from IBM TV. 62 countries are English-speaking countries, because Great Britain went around and taught everybody speak English. But adding more languages is going to help, because it's true, you do learn languages by listening to television from the other language. When I was in Italy, I was trying to pick up the language by listening to Italian television. It's tough, but the thing is, you can do that. So we're going to add more languages. We're going to add more programming. But we have a great program tomorrow for those who are listening. Our business economics program that starts at 10 o'clock our time, which now I know, Sharif, is really 10 p.m. your time. Okay, so
yes.
Late. But we're going to have some professors from Harvard are going to be on tomorrow, professors from University of Illinois. And we do like to bring in these professors that a lot of cases don't get airtime from around the world. So we're going to keep building those programs. So we're going to start building more and interesting programs for our audience by adding share screens so that we can share that. But languages, the bridges, the international flavor, we're going to continue to develop. And also subject matter experts are going to be coming on. So as we find a subject matter expert to talk about a particular topic, like even fundraising, in of itself. There's no classes on it, but we're going to have something specifically on how to do it from a legal standpoint and also from a venture capital standpoint. So there's a lot of opportunity to keep growing our programming.
Yes, Madam Kimberly, yeah.
Oh, wow. So several things here, but always be positive. Always ask why. Don't be afraid to ask why, okay? And if you are the smartest person in the room, change rooms. Surround yourself with smart people. In other words, don't stop learning. All right. Surround yourself with people smarter than you.
Right.
And let them be smart. Don't be the smartest one. Let them be the ones. Let them do their job. That's why they're there. And that's the hardest thing. I watch this, and anyone who is very A-type, kind of like me, the hardest thing to do is to let somebody take on their job. Don't be afraid to do that. And distribution is the most important thing. Nick has said this time and again. You need distribution. You need to get out there and do it and be part of it. Be smart about it. Don't let the media tell you and believe everything that they're doing, because there's always another fact out there that's going to disprove what's going on. So use your mind, and just, if you're interested in doing a show, come to IBM TV. We're open.
Yes.
Yeah, Ankit, we can't do it with
the chosen one.
Yes.
So basically, as Nick and Kim said, we believe in respecting all cultures around the world, and that's how it started, basically, because everyone has a perception that Americans think that, Russian thinks that, and China's and all those people. But whatever we are talking and we are percepting, creating about, that is all about the media, what we watch. We never talk to people manually, or we never talk to have a chit chat with me. I got a chance to talk to maybe more than 150 or 200 people in this past 4 months. And I don't know how we started in March 2019 and we are in August 2020. And I have been talking to a lot of people around the world, and everyone is like us. I mean, it's just that they are from different world and different cultures, but everything is similar. I mean, there is no difference. It's just that you eat pizza, or she eats something else, and I eat something else. That's about it. Rest, they think about the same thing. We are talking about masks, sanitizing, washing hands, taking care of our family and all this stuff. So that's what it is. And then important part is that we are ready to share the knowledge and best practices around the world. So whatever good practice you have, we are ready to share with the world, basically. And that's how we are promoting basically. And that's how IBM TV is all about, power of positive thinking. And when you talk to people, you won't believe, Sharif, we have been invited people from more than 100 countries. We have covered 5 continents. And if you ask me how many experts, so I didn't count it, but last count was around 150 plus experts have been on IBM TV till now. And we have already covered 5 continents, but we are working on a new show in Antarctica with one of our experts. So that's coming soon. And also we are working on a show with one of the mountaineers. She climbed 6 summits, and the show name is Mountain Life. So she already has been to Mount Everest. So we are doing that show as well. We are working on a space show. We are working on a water show with a scientist and with Kim Scarlett. And so there's a lot of things. So it's all about giving appreciation to everyone. And I mean, working as a team. I mean, and whenever you work as a team, you have to accept critical points so that you can improve yourself, and then just look for a positive approach. And that's what we are doing on IBM TV. And we are grateful to do that. And I still remember on our last board meeting, which was happening sometime in March, first week of 2020. And we thought that, okay, let's start COVID series, maybe 15 minutes of show, something like that every day. And it started from 15 minutes to 30 minutes to 4 hours. And we did 5 hours show as well. And I mean, we are doing shows every day without any break because of our good team and support from all other experts as well. And we have been, I think, we have recorded more than 50,000 minutes, or maybe more than that since then. And then the journey was good, and we all are happy and satisfied. And then we are ready to go beyond whatever we have done so far. And then that's what the spirit of IBM TV is.
I also want to give a shout out to Tish and Coach Kumar. I want to thank them for bringing us spiritual, and Dr. Sagu and Dr. Tula and all the doctors. I'm sorry.
It's the IBM TV Awards ceremony.
So also, again, we could not do this without Win. Okay, people. So you don't see him, but Win is everywhere. I kid you not. I don't care what time of day it is. If one of our links goes down, he is in. So we would not be a complete, and again, a team is very important. Believe in your team and let them do their job. That when you bring somebody on board, I know it's hard to let them go and do things because you own this. But when you do that, you build the trust, and it's awesome. We got a great team. We got a great team.
Yes,
and also this is that a lot of people join us at B hours basically. So Billy join us at 12 midnight. Sasha is always there on us whenever we want. Although the time suits Sasha, but still he's always available. And we have Rakesh ji joining us at like 11 p.m.
Rakesh, hi Rakesh.
People are joining us from different parts of the world at different time zones, and they're happy to come back again and again. That is what our biggest satisfaction that people who. So suppose they will talk about Sharif. So I think Sharif is there for like more than 90 days, and then we know that. So that's what I mean. When people come back to you, it feels good that there is some kind of bonding and then some kind of happening. And you won't believe most of them, or 95% of us, we never met one-on-one physically. It's all.
That's true.
We have chemistry, but we still have a chemistry, and we have our own history as well. So that's what brings us.
Yes, and most importantly, I think Professor Nick has some art of talking, right? He used different kind of art. So I'm always thinking how a professor.
Actually, tomorrow, for those who tune in on our business economics show, we've had some great supporters. The dean of the university. Yale University here in the United States Business School, who's been a regular supporter, has been on. The dean of the University of Illinois Business School has been a regular supporter, who's been on. Jeff Brown and Ted Snyder. So I want to give a shout out to those two. And then, of course, David K. Johnson, the Pulitzer Prize winner. He's been a regular supporter of ours. So Sharif, and tomorrow we'll have our first Harvard professor is going to be on tomorrow. So what we're doing is we're bringing in some really good people, and they become regulars, and they help support the mission of IBM TV. So I'm looking forward to more professors in Malaysia that can interact with the professors here in the United States.
International Islamic University, Asian School of Business. Yes, definitely they're going to join with you in IBM TV. And I want to finish this session. Before I finish these things, I learned one thing from Madam Kimberly. She said that knowledge is what you said. Knowledge is important. Then, so can you share these things with our audience? Knowledge and experience.
Education is very, very valuable. Education is very valuable. Experience, the actual experience, it can be very expensive. Okay, but again, it's valuable, very, very expensive. But other people's experience, which is what we like to share on IBM TV, is priceless.
Yes. Thank you. This is the objective. This is actually very good visions that other people experience. People can join in IBM TV. They can learn and they can gather a lot of knowledge, and most importantly, they can get a positive environment. This is very important. Very important. So thank you for your valuable time from WT Forums, and definitely we're gonna explore as much as possible. I'm sure that many different cultural people, many people are gonna join in IBM TV, and hope for the best.
Thank you, Sharif, and looking forward to it soon. Thank you.
Thank you.